Good morning. I would like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting of the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're at the BWB Building, 201 West 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York. We're also streaming live via YouTube and Zoom. It's January the 23rd at 10:35. Go ahead and start with a roll call. Gary Henry is here. Brad Walters.
Here.
Dan Hetzenrader. Here. Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Here.
Stephen Thorpe. Here. Daniel DeMart.
Here.
Amy Harding.
Here.
Tom Harmon.
Here.
Welcome. You should have already received the December 19th minutes, had a chance to review those. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote on the minutes to approve them. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan DeMart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
The minutes have been approved. We'll go ahead and start with our new business. We have several distinguished guests with us this morning. So certainly thankful to have PJ here with us. Did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to welcome Tom Harmon on board, actually, as a new member. Tom's had a length of experience with the legislature, so welcome aboard, Tom.
Thank you.
Obviously, as you've heard, we've had some great news. One, the IDA, I can't remember if I mentioned it before, but you know, when you look at our IDA, it's the #1 ranked IDA in Western New York, ahead of Erie County. We're second in economic development, only behind Invest Buffalo Niagara, which was part of the Buffalo Billions. I think that says a lot about this organization. A little stumble over the summer. The ABO, there's a lot of criticism. In fact, still members of the legislature criticizing the IDA. Well, I beg to differ. When you look at the state's investment, you look at the ranking of this IDA, and on a personal note, Mark being recognized as one of the Power 250 people in Western New York. Give a shout out to Anna Dibble, who's also part of that group as well. But I think that goes a lot to show what the IDA, what this board is made up of, and what its mission is. The economic development of Chautauqua County and Western New York to a great extent as well. It's unique that we're poised right here in the BWB building, adjacent to the Comedy Center, which is a focal point. But I think also just looking at what we have done and the tally of last year's investment of nearly $900 million, I'll say close to $1 billion of investment in industrial economic development here in Chautauqua County, 2,300 retained jobs, nearly 700, 600 and some new jobs created. You're looking at Wells, who was a year ago laying people off, now bringing back more individuals than they laid off. So I think what we see here is a real change and a significant investment. So on behalf of myself and the residents, I'd like to thank everyone here, even our newest members, but also to Mark and everything you've done. It really shows that, we have made changes and we've made the right changes and we've made the right investments here in Chautauqua County. So thank you so much. And I'm glad to be part of this. I'll always be a cheerleader. I can't say enough, and people might be online listening, and I hope they don't ever get sick of me, but I'm always going to be here touting the good work that this group does. I'm really excited about what we have to show and the future, what the future holds for us. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Thank you.
And just to follow up on that, I do want to reiterate congratulations to Mark on being acknowledged in the Buffalo Business First Power 250 list. Very well deserved. It's certainly been a privilege for me to be able to work with you on this board. And I know many others on your team feel the same way, but not only does this represent you, but everybody on the whole IDA. I certainly think it's well deserved. And so it's impressive what you've been able to do for Chautauqua County. And I'm glad to see that you're getting acknowledged for it. But I just
I just want to say a couple things real quick. I mean, obviously, this award is to our economic development team, and it's not just the people around this table, but it's the staff in the planning department. It's all of our municipalities and economic development stakeholders, the partnership people. And obviously, they recognize me, they put my name on it, but that's representative of our entire team. And really, I mean, you can't do this stuff alone. And, I'm just fortunate that we have all of these great people, all these great, stakeholders and partners to work with. So thank you for recognizing that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'd also like to welcome the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation here, and Paul Reiser and Eric Famdo are here with us. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then Tom Harmon has joined the board, and so we're thankful to have him on the board. And I believe Mark had a few words to share.
Yeah, so Tom is the new Kevin Muldowney, right? I'm just sort of joking. Obviously, he's now the PED chair for the county legislature. Tom's been a resident in Hanover for over 34 years. He served on the Village of Silver Creek board as a trustee and a deputy mayor for 2 terms. He was elected in 2020 to the legislature in District 6, and he's currently in his 3rd term. He's been on the PED and the Audit Control Committee for a couple of terms, for 2 terms, and he's really enjoyed that, and he's done a nice job there. So we're just thrilled, Tom, that you're our ex officio on the board of the IDA. Because of your chairmanship on the PED. So welcome aboard, and we hope we make you proud here.
Thanks, Mark. I just want to thank everybody. This is a little overwhelming. This is not what I pictured, actually. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody and adding what I can add to the mix. So thank you all. Glad I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and move into new business A, Wicked Jimmy's LLC, presented by Rich and Carol.
Okay, I will start with the description. We have on Zoom Robert Roth, who is the owner of the applicant, and I will turn it over to him soon. But the project is to purchase the former Jamestown Brewing Company building, including the equipment, furniture, and fixtures. The building has been vacant for 4 years. Pretty much as a turnkey operation for a craft brewery and restaurant. And that's what Rob intends to do, open it up as a craft brewery, brew beer, restaurant, events, and add a little more flavor to it and get it rejuvenated and opened up. The location's 115, 121 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, New York. It's 3,500 square feet. I think everyone's familiar with it, but it's right across the street, the old Jamestown Brewing. The purchase price for the building is 1.75 million. And he has a total project cost of $2,344,999. That includes, of course, working capital, some soft costs, equipment, renovations to open the craft brewery, engage in processing beer, food, and then the event space modernized. Plans to have weddings there and putting a bridal suite in there. So on January 22nd, the Loan Review Committee was presented with this application, and they have recommended it to the Board of Directors. And that is after going over the financials and the project and interviewing with Rob. So it's here to revitalize the space. He intends to aggressively market. So I will explain that the application requests an LTAC, EDA, or CRLF funding for $950,000. And that's to assist in the purchase of the building. Other banks and agencies are presently looking at the additional funding needed for the Loan Review Committee. Of course, they recommended a a second lien position with other financing agencies. And Jamestown Local Development is looking at it right now. They have a green space grant for 99,999 from the city of Jamestown. Stito and WRC are looking at the loan, and he has a few banks that are looking at it now to complete the process. So we will take the pro rata second lien position with other financing agencies behind the building. And all assets, including equipment, furniture and fixtures. The building, I should say, is appraised at 2.330 million, so you know, there's wiggle room in there. So Rob, oh, I'm sorry, it's presented as a 20-year loan at 4%. Rob?
Hi, gang. How are you?
Hi.
Great.
So at this time, I'd like to introduce Robert Roth. He's president of Wicked Jimmy's in Warren. That's an active craft brewery and restaurant at this time. So Rob, would you like to give a brief description of your project?
I would love to, Carol. Thank you very much for the
Thank
introduction.
you. And thank you for being here.
I'm glad I'm here and not on the roads, by the way, that it looks
Yeah,
outside.
that was a good call.
Hopefully it's not my first good call, or my last good call, let's put it that way. So our goal in this whole thing is to make this location Jamestown's premier entertainment complex. Some things that we're going to add to the building is going to be a rooftop lounge. We want to put a speakeasy in there. That'll be something very unique to Jamestown, and it's very popular around the country. We want to put a bridal suite in so that the bride will have a special area just for her while we have a large wedding in our banquet facility on the top floor. In addition to that, we want to put a pizza bar in so people can watch their pizzas being made and sit right in front of the pizza oven and, you know, be interactive with the chefs that are cooking their pizza. And then I'm sure you all know that, but there's a 400-person banquet room on the top floor, which we intend to do a lot of different things with. Some dinner theater type of things, obviously banquets, weddings, and the such. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is, and I told this to the loan committee, is that I'm really tired of saying no in Warren, Pennsylvania. You know, we have to say no, we don't have Jack Daniels, or no, we don't have Kendall Jackson Chardonnay, because we can only sell Pennsylvania liquors and wine. Our beer, of course, is Pennsylvania made, so we comply in that thing. But in Jamestown, we'll be able to do those things. We'll be able to do Jack Daniels or Stoli vodka or whatever. We'll be able to do some really fine wines. We'll be able to do some top shelf whiskeys. And there, you know, and the other thing is we're always getting sold out there. So people are coming to the door, but we don't have any place to sit them. So this complex being, you know, 35 or almost 35,000 square feet gives us plenty of options for seating and dining. So the other question I get all the time, and I got one yesterday, you know, we want to have a birthday party for my husband's 60th birthday. You know, where can we do this? And we don't have any place in Warren, so we have to turn away a lot of business in that realm as well. Right now, our system is pretty small. We only have a 3-barrel system. We're going to be going to a 20-barrel system here in Jamestown, which is 7 times larger almost. And that will give us the option to distribute to local bars and restaurants where we can't do that now. So we're very, very excited. It's going to be a big step for us, but we're definitely up for the challenge. We're bringing some key people with us. Our brewer, of course, who used to work at Southern Tier, so he's used to systems even larger than the one that's next door. We also are bringing a woman that is one of our head bartenders and servers, and she's going to run the front of the house in Jamestown. She's got 12 years of experience running her own businesses. She has 3 locations in Jamestown that she just had to give up due to some personal reasons. The businesses are still alive, but she used to run them, doing the hiring, the firing, the ordering, and everything like that. So we're extremely excited. And I hope we can get some signatures on the bottom line here and get some monies to help us grow this business.
Thanks, Rob. I'm glad you mentioned your experienced staff. I was thinking of that. So, another reason for it to be turnkey. And I'll just mention that, in the past, when Jamestown Brewing was open properly, they drew many crowds. They drew a crowd. And any event they had, and the space is wonderful. So, Mark, or would you?
Yeah, real quick. I mean, obviously that building has been sitting vacant since really COVID, almost, over 4 years. And they really were sort of reaching a point where they were self-sustaining. We used to go over there for lunch. There was a lot of people in there. They were doing a lot of menus, and then COVID hit, and it affected everything. Rob comes along. He's got a really good operation in Warren, which is very successful. And, I'm very excited about him taking over here and doing the right thing there. And obviously, this downtown with the National Comedy Center and the arena and the restaurants, I mean, this is the one key ingredient to really sparking more life into this downtown area. So it's super important. The other two things I want to say, obviously the loan committee recommended recommended that the board should approve this. They like the project. And then the other thing I want to make sure everyone realizes that, this funding and this project moving forward is also contingent on Rob getting those other sources of funding. So, if he doesn't get the other pieces, obviously this doesn't happen. So it's contingent on those other funding sources. So, I'm all for it, and I'm excited that Rob came along.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Does anyone else have any questions? Unopposed to Mark or?
Yeah, not
Rob?
so much a question, but I guess a statement, since our chamber office down the street's been open as a visitor center, very frequently we get the question from visitors that see brewery on the side of the building. Is that place open? Can we go in there? And unfortunately, we've had to say, well, no. And then as soon as there were sort of rumors or rumblings about some activity there, we'd get those questions of, do you know what's going on there? So I just want to say I'm really happy to see this obviously come before the board today and kind of move forward and launch. So it's exciting.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, with no other questions, Brad Walters, would you move new business A2 for us?
Resolution 01-32401. The members of the County Chicago Industrial Development Agency to approve an LTAC loan, EDA CARES Act funds, and/or CRLF to Wicked Jimmy's LLC.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sagan. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader. Aye. Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
And the resolution is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Rob. We appreciate you being on today. Certainly, this is an exciting project. This has been something that the IDA's worked on in the past, and to see the vacant and to reiterate what Mark said, right in the downtown area, what Dan pointed out, this is going to be an important step for the downtown. So we're excited to see it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, and we hope to make you very, very proud.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, gang. Have a great day.
Okay, you
Sure.
too. Bye-bye.
Go ahead and move into new business B, Reagan Development Corp., presented by Mark, Christine, and Millen.
Do you want me to start or?
Either way, go ahead.
Well, why don't you start and then kick it over to me at the right point? I just want to say some high level things about it.
Okay, sounds great. So yes, a very exciting project, Carol.
Yeah.
So now, and I have
You're
another
so-
exciting project. This one's in the North County, in
They
the city
are.
of Dunkirk. The next resolution is a due diligence resolution and preliminary agreement for Reagan Development Corp. And today we have with us Larry Reagan, who's the president of Reagan Development Corp., Gabe Reagan, who's the development associate, and also Robert Taylor of Crockett and Taylor, who's a financial consultant to the project. And before we ask you to provide your overview, we're going to provide just a brief description of the project. Mark will make a few comments and then we'll ask you to present further details. So this project is the acquisition and demolition of long vacant and or limited activity buildings located at 208 through 214 Washington Avenue and also 220 Washington Avenue, plus a few surrounding parcels in the city of Dunkirk, and also the acquisition and demolition of a portion of a 4th Street strip plaza. It's 160-164 East 4th Street. The project will include 78 newly constructed workforce housing apartments, and those will be broken out as 30 units on Washington Avenue and 48 units on 4th Street with a daycare space of about 6,500 square feet. The units will be multiple rents with income tier bands to properly target a mix of households representative of the target market, workforce, and supportive housing. The application is for real property tax, sales tax, and mortgage recording tax. And again, it's a due diligence resolution and preliminary agreement. So no decisions made today. It's just a resolution authorizing our staff to move forward through the due diligence process and consideration of the benefits requested. Mark?
Yeah, just a very high level. This is a DRI project, so you're aware of the fact that the city of Dunkirk was awarded $10 million. This is one of those projects that's within one of the projects that they're considering for funding at this point. I'm excited about it, and hopefully it moves forward. But it really addresses a need for workforce and affordable housing, and we're seeing that all over. We just did a housing assessment study, and it over and over again it talked about having nice, affordable housing, especially for the working class. Again, they're going to be applying for housing tax credits through the HCR, and this is part of that, getting this due diligence resolution in place. I'm sure Larry will talk about this, but last I wanted to say that, or two things really. Reagan is a very well-known and reputable firm. They've done work all over the place, and their projects are incredible. I salute you for that. And then also the sites where they're considering doing these projects are really optimal. They're underutilized, they're dilapidated, they're in the city center. They check all the boxes, and so again, hopefully this project can move forward for those reasons. So.
Okay, great. And now I'd like to introduce Larry, Gabe, and Robert to provide some additional details around your project.
Thank you very much for the invitation to join you today. Mark, thank you for your kind words. And we echo everything you just mentioned. We at Reagan Development have been niche affordable housing mixed use developers for over 30 years in New York State. We're based downstate in Westchester, but we're not limited to those areas. We currently have 3 well-performing deals in the city of Buffalo, and we've always wanted to come out to Chautauqua County and Dunkirk area to do a deal. And it was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and we did some outreach, and we did a call with Mark and staff and the city of Dunkirk. Because the first thing we like to do is to make sure there's a need and a demand for what we do. We are tools for communities and counties such as yourself and agencies such as yourself to build and own and develop and operate workforce housing developments. And we often like to include a community component like we're proposing in this project, which is a children's daycare facility. We've been in discussions with the Chautauqua Center. They potentially may want to operate a center in the location that we're looking at right near their building. And if they don't do it, we do have some regional daycare providers that are not based in Dunkirk that would be interested. But what we wanted to make sure of, and after discussions with Mark and the city of Dunkirk and the mayor and their development directors, and Vince DeJoy, who's been amazing to work with. Basically, we did determine there was a need for workforce housing. We wanted to create and find properties where we could do this, where people could walk to work. We know there's a lot of manufacturing and there's an uptick in hiring in the Dunkirk industrial area. And we want to be able to help the city of Dunkirk, as they have with their DRI, to create a 24/7 live work area where we can help repopulate that downtown with quality housing, with quality workforce renters who are going to shop and recreate and go to restaurants in the downtown core. And this is a coordinated effort by us as a for-profit to work with the city, the county, and other local not-for-profits in the area to develop affordable housing that's all electric, new, energy efficient, and we're doing this with the help of the state Homes and Community Renewal. We're looking to house families up to 80% of the area median in your county, which would be family of four, for example, making up to about $65,000 to $68,000 a year. And we're also putting these two properties in. They've been accepted, both of them, into the New York State DEC Brownfield Cleanup Program. So both of these properties, though the environmental impacts were not severe, we were able to put them into the Brownfield Cleanup Program, providing capping on both these properties because there's some historic fills on the properties, and we're able to use those credits to help offset the development costs, along with other funding from HCR, tax credits, and hopefully we will be awarded some of the DRI monies, which I believe is up for determination at the Department of State. So we're very, very proud to be tools for your communities, for the city of Dunkirk to move this deal forward. And we would appreciate your support in moving this request for a 30-year pilot forward. We were looking for a tax agreement that would be coterminous with our funding, our permanent mortgage, which allows for the stability and the surety in our budgets long-term to provide long-term affordability for these workforce residents that will be built in the building. So we're open for any questions. Bob Taylor is on as our financial consultant. He can answer any of the numbers questions. And my son Gabe, who's a partner at Regan Development, is also on to answer any questions as well. But thank you for the opportunity.
Larry, could you speak to the Eshai component?
Sure. The Eshai component, we work with a group by the name of Soldier On. Soldier On is a regional not-for-profit that provides case service management for former veterans that are either homeless or in need or in danger of being homeless. And they coordinate. They'll have an office in the building. They coordinate the services for these veterans, and they provide access and entree into the community for them, as well as support services for any of their needs. So we don't do the case management ourselves. We do the physical property management, but this group, Soldier On, has a very good reputation. They're regional, and they're the dominant and preeminent service agency for veterans that are looking to provide housing support for those in the area that need it.
Thank you. Also, could you describe the units inside the building?
So predominantly we're a mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms. Mostly 1s and 2s. I think, Gabe, there's only three bedrooms in the complex. So it's mostly for young families or individuals looking to work in the downtown core area. That all of the units will be, of course, new, all electric. Broadband will be included in the rental number. We work with HCR, and one of their big pushes is to have all of us as developers, owners, to include universal broadband in our buildings. So we're doing that, and that's built into the affordable rent as well as a benefit. Everything, of course, is new in the building because it's new construction. And there'll be the daycare facility, which is in one of the 2 structures. It'll be about 6,700 square feet. As I mentioned, hopefully we'll be working with the Chautauqua Center as our operator there. But everything is new, all electric utilities. That's one of the goals of HCR and the governor and the administration, is to provide energy efficient, all electric development in our buildings. So there'll be no use of gas in these buildings.
Thank you, Larry. Are there other questions of the Reagan Development team? Yes, Mr. County Executive?
No, Larry, Gabe, and Robert, County Executive Wendell, as you know, the governor has a big push for, affordable housing, as you know, and as Marcus said, the need for this type of housing in Chautauqua County is great. I hope this could be the beginning of a longer lasting friendship. I think what you're presenting here is amazing. In fact, I think as Christina said, the component for veterans is critical as we move forward. Living space as well with wraparound services for those individuals is critical. But hopefully this is a start here in Chautauqua County. I'm sure Mark and Rich and the team can find you more space, but I'm really excited about this. I will be completely honest. I can't say I'm completely on board with all electric, as you know, Fredonia is the birthplace of natural gas, so it's a unique caveat. But nonetheless, this is an initiative that, as you know, the governor is behind, and this is a significant need here in Chautauqua County. So welcome aboard. I hope it really starts to gain momentum, but also looking for future opportunities to develop with you.
Thank you.
And I think, were you planning to share your screen, or I do have a printout? I'm not sure if there was anything additional you wanted to share or wanted us to go on the paper copy.
Gabe, you want to share the renderings maybe? Do you have them handy?
And I do have printouts if you prefer, we rely on those. So the first one in the printout that you have in front of you, you can see at the bottom, I wrote Washington Avenue. So this is what the Washington Avenue site would look like. And if you flip it over, yours is different than mine, but on the back, it should have. Yep, there's Washington Avenue. And you can see that it's designated on the second page. And then behind that would be the 4th Street rendering and the 4th Street layout.
Just to give you context, so the incubator, the Fredonia Technology Incubator is just south of that Washington Street rendering. It would go all the way from Washington all the way over to Park. So it's right behind it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the building on the corner? Because that was converted to housing some years ago.
Parker Spring?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Chadwick Bay Lofts.
Yeah. Chadwick Bay Lofts right there on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that. And then the other one is right where the mall or the plaza is. And on the right there is the Chautauqua Center. That must have been a picture before it was. Is that fully built? But anyway, it's on the right there. But yeah, I didn't know if this was just the footings. It doesn't look, but anyway. And then on the left of course is the plaza. So it would be right there on 3rd Street next to the plaza. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
I don't know if you want to say anything about it, the fact that it's the due diligence, what that means.
Sure. The first I would echo what I think Mark said. My firm has done a number of transactions with Regan Development, including last year for Hempstead IDA. I found them very easy to work with and their products are wonderful. As Mark said, this is a due diligence resolution only, and it authorizes and instructs staff and council to start the due diligence, including a public hearing, doing all the environmental work, working up the business terms, including a possible 30-year pilot, and all of the legal documentation before bringing it back to the board. And as was mentioned, with these deals, we find that there's an awful lot of funding sources. So with many of your deals, we're back to you for the next meeting because we've done everything. This one may well take a little bit longer than that. But it's a due diligence resolution only. It does not bind the IDA to any financial assistance. Before that happens, we will come back to you with a fully developed package of documents, et cetera.
Thank you. Did we have any other questions? Hearing none. Dan Hetzenrader, would you move new business B2 for us?
Absolutely. I'll move resolution 01232402, due diligence resolution and preliminary agreement with Regan Development Corp.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
The resolution is unanimously approved. Thank you for being with us today. We certainly are excited about this project and hope it can move forward.
Thank you, and thank you all for your vote of confidence. We'll keep you informed as we proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
It's good to, I'd like to point out, it's good to see here when we, have these different resolutions, how, it's really covering the whole county. It just worked out well today. We're both, new business A and B are the two urban centers in the county, but we know there's a lot of other development going on. We think of the work going on in Ripley. We know there's been projects with Silver Creek we've been working on. And so, just the IDA works throughout the whole county and it's not just one area that we're concentrating on. We'll go ahead and move to business C presented by Mark.
So I know you're all aware that through the county, IDA was allocated $400,000 from the ARPA, really the first round. And we did three things with that. We provided about 320,000 of that for grants to businesses to help them upgrade their marketing. We also did an ESG white paper with Insight, and then we worked with the Best Buffalo Niagara to help 6 companies through their economic gardening program. And as we put out the marketing information and solicited, companies to apply for this funding, we had 84 applicants in 1 week for that program. And we knew that we didn't have nearly enough money to help all them. So through that what I call first round, we helped 41 companies and they averaged about $8,000 per business. By the way, it was open to not-for-profits and other, it wasn't just private sector businesses. And then so we had this waiting list. And so we went to the Ralph Wilson Foundation and we applied, we asked if they could help us and they allocated $258,000 to do the next. So we did 41 businesses with that first round. Through the Ralph Wilson Foundation, and thank you, we did 35 more businesses and we still had 8 businesses on the waiting list. So we went back to the ARPA planning committee that's led by PJ. And we asked for an additional $71,411 because we had already taken those applications in. We knew exactly how much we needed to get them all done. And the committee recommended this funding. And so actually tomorrow night, they'll be approving it at the legislature meeting, but we're asking for this the board to accept approval of that round 3 funding for $71,411 to do those remaining 8 businesses.
Was there any questions from the board? Dan?
I just want to add, so the chamber has been a partner with the county, IDA, your team, and the Small Business Development Center team as well on this project from the beginning. And, it's incredibly challenging, I think, as we all know, for a small business owner to run that business, make a profit, and keep that business going. And marketing is often the first thing that's cut, right? Like the budget, because it's a nice what if, but also marketing is what gives you that opportunity to grow your business. So we have heard a lot of gratitude, of course, from the businesses, and as Mark said, organizations as well, local nonprofits and others who face those similar challenges for this program. And I want to give a big thank you and credit to Mark and Courtney and their teams and our team at the chamber that we've stuck with this, right? I think a lot of partners would have completed a first round of funding and said, okay, the funding's done. Great program, everybody, but we all decided that we were going to stick with this and try to get that whole list done. And again, we got a second wave from the Wilson Foundation, and now to get the funding to get that list 100% completely done is, I think, really kind of amazing and a unique little story. So I wanted to say that, and then also as one of the partners administering the program, I think we've got enough votes here and everything. I'll abstain from the vote. So.
Dan, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't not include that for any other reason other than I just didn't think of it. But, this has been such a great partnership with us. Really what happened is the DCC Small Business Development Center did all the intake of the applications and looked at each one and assessed, were these the types of expenditures that would warrant marketing? And then the chamber went out and ground truth it, met with the owners, talked through what they were going to do, tweak things. And then those applications came back to Crystal Earhart, who processed all of those and kept track and all that. And then, of course, Kayla at the IDA, they worked together for all the accounting. So it's been this total, team project that's really worked out well. And I can't wait to tell the story at the end here. I've got a final report I've already written that's all ready to go, and then a press release, and we're going to tell the county this was great stuff, that we've spread this money all over the county to help all businesses, 50 people or less. So it's been for the smaller businesses, less than $10,000 for these grants. So I think a great program.
Very good. Sagan, would you move new business C for us?
Sure. Resolution 01230403 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency approving entry into agreement with Chautauqua County to implement round 3 of the marketing assistance to businesses and not-for-profits projects.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Steve, thank you. I'll do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader. Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan DeMart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
And so the resolution is approved with 7 ayes and 1 abstention. And so certainly an exciting program, and thank you for the updates. And we're glad to see that everybody was able to receive some funding. And next, we'll move into the executive director's report.
Yeah, so today I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. We're going to pass out our annual report, and I know you can all read. So you can dig into this more. I could spend an hour. In fact, I think 5 or 6 years ago, I did spend about an hour. I thought I was going to get fired at the end. It was really bad. So I'm not going to do that and torture you. There's just so much going on that it almost feels like when I look at when you open it up, you'll see. But when I look at all the projects we do, it's like, what do I talk about? Because they're all like, how do you choose your favorite child, right? Each one of these has just been like an intense amount of energy and effort, and we're so proud of them. But I'm going to do my best. So we'll start at the first page there. We had really an unprecedented year. $842 million of investment in projects that we've been involved in. It's huge. Last year was just over 500 million, and I thought we'll never do that again. And here we are. We'll see what next year brings, right? But just a really unprecedented year. We were involved in 34 different projects. Those could be loans or grants or pilots. So 34 total projects. 574 jobs created. 2,300 plus jobs retained. We approved 9 loans through LTEC and or the CARES Act funding. We secured over $10 million in grants, and as part of our pilots, about $2 million was returned to the taxing jurisdictions through pilot payments. So that's high level. I sort of gave away the ending before I started, but how did we get there? And if you go flip over to the next page, and the way we started doing this a couple of years ago is do top 10, sort of the top 10 achievements, and then sort of the top 10 goals for next year. So, Cummins engine, right? What do you say? That was a $452 million investment. They're building a new engine block platform that can handle diesel, hydrogen, or both. It's the industry's first fuel agnostic internal combustion engine. They're also going to do a cam line, I believe, from this, but that's going to create 90 permanent positions and retain 1,200 jobs. The way we contributed is they didn't do a pilot. We didn't do a pilot with them. We did state sales tax exemptions, which were worth about $3 million. So, and that was an important part. Wells Ice Cream, $250 million plus investment in the ice cream plant Dunkirk. We helped them. How many years ago was that? 4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. They put in 5 or 6 new lines, and they still had like 20 old lines, and those 5 or 6 lines were producing more than those 20 old lines, and it was very inefficient. And so they made a corporate decision that they're going to invest in that plant, tear out all that old stuff and build new stuff. And it's really exciting because it really means that they're putting another stake in the ground. They're going to hire another 200 people, and they're making this incredible investment. We worked with them on a pilot, sales tax exemptions. So that's really exciting. Weber Knapp, we included that because that's just another example of a company that's local, that we want to stay local. When I say local, locally owned and run and managed locally. And that was another example. It was a 20 million plus purchase by Rhonda Johnson and Wayne Rischel. Rhonda was on our board, and then she left our board. But anyway, 20 plus million. They've been around for 114 years, so that's good. Number 4 on here is the Refresco purchasing the Talcott Street plant that we. Are you glad to get rid of that?
I am.
I'm just asking.
It's sleeping great.
Yeah. And that was a bear for us to take care of that, and it worked out well. ConAgra Refresco bought it. They're going to invest $13 million in it. I think they're going to add another about 10 employees. We did sell to them. We provided an adaptive reuse pilot. They're going to create a sort of Northeast distribution center there. We also got funding, and Nate was a big part of this, for the Brownfield Remediation Revolving Loan Fund to help developers clean up sites or buildings. And we hope to do, help for 2 or 3 projects, maybe sort of prove it out and then go back to the EPA for more money. So we got that going. Electrovia, lithium ion battery manufacturer in the Mason Industrial Park and the old AccuRite building that was owned by Heidenhain. They're looking to invest over $40 million in that, create 150 jobs. Hopefully that all works out. I know there was an article in the paper a couple of weeks ago about them still working on their financing. So cross our fingers. Hope that happens. I mean, who can forget about the authority's budget office? That was a lot of hard work. Going through that whole process and, 42 recommendations, and we've done a really great job, our staff and our consultants, on addressing all of those concerns. I feel really good about where we are now. I hope Rich does and others that, we're still working on the website and the website, but that'll be launched here in the next month or two. Shovel-ready sites, I don't need to go into Ripley, how much work that's been, but that's a $16 million, 140 plus acres, water, sewer, electric, road. And we got a $5.25 million grant from the Fast New York program through Empire State Development. And we need those sites. I already talked about ARPA, but so I won't go into that ARPA Business Assistance Program. That was big. And then lastly, for accomplishments, the Talent Attraction and Retention Campaign. Jason has been doing a great job, and Nate and Monica and others, really creating sort of a brand, branding the county and creating hype about what a great place this is, not only to do business, but also to live, work, and play. And it's a Live Chautauqua and Choose Chautauqua. So it's sort of two campaigns in one. And we're working through that with Clever Method. And then as part of that, Block Club, who did the branding campaign Be in Buffalo for Invest Buffalo Niagara. So they're really well known. They're a great firm. And then as part of that, also Clever Method is working on our website. So that's been a big lift over a year, working on that. And so we'll get that fully launched here soon. And I won't spend a lot of time on this, but these are sort of obvious, but a lot of these are obvious, but we've been really concentrating on reactivating properties of community importance. And we've done that throughout the county, and we've got a lot of success stories, but there are still some buildings that we really want to get these back into use before it's too late. The Furniture Mart building right here is so key to downtown. The Silver Creek School, we got good momentum right there with Park Grove and Stell, and hopefully they can get their housing tax credits, and we can move that project forward. They're going to demo that and build a new facility. Lakeshore Hospital, we've had some starts and stops on that, but we're going to keep pushing on that. The Truck Life building, same thing, and we'll continue to aggressively market those. Our staff is very aggressive about reaching out to all the businesses and each year, and at least once a year, and saying, hey, how things going? Can we meet with you? A lot of times we invite the county executive, and, we sit down with them and say, where are things going? What's going on? We really would just want to, if things aren't going well, we want to know so we can step in and help steer that back on course if we can, or, they're thinking about expansion possibilities, all those things. So we're really aggressive about that. We have Wells, I already talked about them, and Immunity Bio up there in the North County, and certainly Immunity Bio. There was some good news recently about some new investment in that facility, but it's currently underutilized. So we really want to continue to work with them. We meet with them every 6 months or so, and say, how things going? Let's talk. But we'll continue to help them. The partnership has been, and I'll talk about that at the CREDC meeting. I'll do sort of the same thing here. But the partnership has really done great work. We want to continue to support them. We want to continue to acquire shovel-ready sites. It's not one and done in Ripley by any means. We're really looking at Mason Industrial Park right now and making sure that we do everything that's required, that we feel is required for it to be shovel-ready. So, and we're also looking at potentially expansion if it works out. I talked about the marketing and branding campaign. We want to, what do you do to reverse population decline? Well, you make sure that the world knows what a great place this is, so they want to live here. And even the people that are currently here, to, you know, remind them what a great place this is, and there's great jobs available and that kind of thing. ARPA funded projects, you know, one was a site acquisition for the Ripley site. We already talked about that. CPAG, the CAP program, Chautauqua Advanced Program through the workforce development. They're getting funding Cornell Cooperative Extension for their ag improvement program. I'm impressed what they've been able to do. And then, of course, I talked about the marketing assistance program. We want to continue to collaborate with Dunkirk and Jamestown, especially as it pertains to the DRI in the North County and the Chattacoin River Strategic Business Plan in the down here behind the Comedy Center. Ag development, we can't forget about ag development. We did a plan a couple of years ago, and each year we've been implementing at least one of the recommendations coming out of that. So we want to continue to do that, and we want to continue to work on this NRG reuse project. And, you know, we got funding through NYSERDA, and we have a consultant, and we're working through things like the infrastructure assessment, environmental assessment, marketing material, site planning, and a bunch of other things, so that we can sort of queue that up to find the right type of development for that site. And there's so much more. I could go on and on and on, but I just lastly wanted to acknowledge, if you go to the back here, the last page is our board. I apologize that Tom Harmon is not on here. By the time we got this to like almost production ready, it was so late in the game, but I told Tom, I apologize that he's not on here, but, you know, thank you. Sorry, Tom. I'll make it up to you.
I'm a baseball card.
Yeah.
There you go, baseball card.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're in.
You know, Gary has been a great leader. Thank you, Gary, and Brad has been on board for a while. Sagan and Dan DeMart, Amy, Steve. And we also have a resolution in to appoint Kevin Muldowney to the board. Now that he's not the PED chair, he's a businessman, and we really, you know, he's been a great contributor. So thank you, all of you. And then our staff, of course, you know, Rich and Nate and Carol, Linda Burns is site marketing, Christine and Rose and Carol are project managers. Rebecca Worcester from the planning department. Well, I'm sorry, that's CREDC, but anyway, everyone on here has worked and is working together. Jason is our marketing coordinator. Barb Molnar, account clerk. Jeanette is our office manager. She's doing great work. So we have a really great staff. We also our loan committee, our consultants, Philip Slidell, thank you. So that's sort of what I have. How'd I do? Too much?
Under an hour?
Yeah.
That was 15 minutes, wasn't it?
You did great.
All right.
And
I hope it wasn't
thank
too
you.
much.
No, it's good to get the reminder. The only thing I would disagree with you on is you said it was unprecedented. While the dollar figure may be higher than what we've seen before, the economic development and the work that your team is doing is phenomenal every year after year. And I think that's why it's being, you know, noted when, you know, some of the awards, seeing the results in our county. So we thank you for all that you and the team have done. Rich, did you have a treasurer's report?
So typically, we would review preliminary December numbers in January. February would have no report. In March, we would go over the final audit. The complexity of the things going on, we're going to not have a report today. We'll look at the more preliminary numbers of December and February. I talked to Sagan about it. So we're gonna, in February, we'll have a report where today we won.
Okay,
But I can tell you, we're having a very good year. So
great. Thank you.
things are good.
Thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the financial or credit history of a particular person or corporation. In particular, I would like to discuss the status of our loan portfolio and the financial and credit status of some of our borrowers, as well as some CCIDA personnel. I believe that discussing this in open session would substantially affect value. Do I hear some motion? Sagan, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Did you guys keep time?
Oh, thank you.
No, yeah.